Hello, resilient Scorpio. Some transformations arrive so quietly that they are easy to overlook until you realize you no longer respond to life the way you once did. This message meets you at a meaningful point in your journey, inviting you to face your own story with compassion instead of resistance. Every emotion that rises to the surface, whether it feels comforting or unsettling, has something valuable to reveal when you are willing to listen without judgment. The experiences that have challenged you were never meant to define your limits. They have gradually revealed strengths you may not have recognized while you were living through them. Instead of trying to erase old wounds, allow yourself to understand what they have been protecting and whether those defenses still belong in your life. Healing becomes more natural when you stop forcing change and begin making space for honesty. You may notice yourself drawn toward people whose presence feels steady rather than loud. Relationships built on trust instead of appearances. Meaningful connections grow through mutual understanding, where giving and receiving feel balanced instead of transactional. The quiet strength you have developed speaks for itself, often encouraging others without needing explanation or recognition. Whenever life begins to feel overwhelming, return to simple moments that help you reconnect with yourself. A silent walk beneath an open sky, time near water, deep breathing or uninterrupted stillness can gently settle emotions that have been asking for your attention. There is no need to rush your growth. Lasting transformation often unfolds beneath the surface long before it becomes visible. As your awareness deepens, thoughts and feelings that once stayed hidden may naturally rise into view. Rather than seeing them as obstacles, consider them invitations to understand yourself more completely. Every difficult chapter becomes part of a larger story, shaping a resilience that could never have been created without experience. What once felt like emotional weight can gradually become wisdom you carry with greater ease. Remain open to subtle impressions, meaningful conversations, and unexpected moments that quietly shift your perspective. Insight does not always arrive dramatically. Sometimes it appears through a feeling you cannot ignore or a simple encounter that stays with you long afterward. Trust your inner awareness to recognize what deserves your attention and what is ready to be released. You do not need to prove your strength anymore. It becomes visible through your patience, your honesty, and your willingness to remain true to yourself even when no one else fully understands your path. As you continue healing, the way you move through the world naturally creates space for others to embrace their own growth with greater courage. Keep your heart open without abandoning your boundaries, and allow yourself to welcome change without demanding certainty from it. You may discover that the peace you have been searching for begins the moment you stop resisting who you have become. Let this reflection serve as a reminder that your journey is uniquely your own, and trust yourself to recognize what genuinely resonates while allowing the rest to pass without attachment. The reflections shared here are meant as guidance rather than absolute answers. Every person's path unfolds differently, so receive what speaks honestly to your experience and leave behind whatever does not. In the next part, we will explore how these themes may be reflected in important areas of your life, including your relationships, your work, your well-being, and the connections that shape your world. If this reflection has spoken to something meaningful within you, I would truly appreciate your support through a simple like. It helps this space continue to grow and allows me to keep creating thoughtful messages with care for everyone who finds comfort, encouragement, or perspective here. Instead of focusing on lucky numbers or promises of perfect timing, consider a symbol that reflects the spirit of this reading. The number 13 has long represented transformation and renewal, not as a prediction, but as a reminder that meaningful change often begins beneath the surface before it becomes visible. A rich shade such as deep burgundy or midnight blue may also echo the emotional atmosphere of this message, inviting calm, reflection, and quiet confidence whenever you choose to wear it. If one word captures the heart of this reflection, it is truth. Not the kind that demands immediate answers, but the kind that asks for honesty with yourself before seeking certainty from anyone else. Real understanding rarely comes from winning every disagreement. It grows through listening carefully, recognizing another person's perspective, and allowing conversations to become places where trust is built instead of defended. Strength does not always mean standing alone. Sometimes it means recognizing who has earned a place beside you and allowing genuine support to become part of your journey. Scorpio often protects itself by carrying burdens in silence, yet some paths become clearer when shared with people whose loyalty has already proven itself through action rather than words. You may also find yourself offering comfort to someone navigating a difficult chapter of life. Whether their struggle is emotional, physical, or simply invisible to others, your steady presence can matter more than having the perfect advice. These moments are not warnings of what must happen, but reminders that compassion often deepens our own understanding of what truly deserves our attention. As events unfold, you may notice an old uncertainty beginning to lose its grip. Perhaps someone whose intentions you question starts making more sense when viewed through a different perspective, or perhaps the deeper truth you uncover is your own. There is wisdom in allowing unanswered questions to settle naturally instead of forcing conclusions before your heart is ready to accept them. The symbolic journey continues with the Ace of Cups, a reminder that emotional openness is not weakness, but courage. It reflects the possibility of lowering defenses that once felt necessary and discovering that authentic connection begins where pretense ends. Vulnerability becomes less frightening when it grows from self-respect rather than emotional dependence. The Fool follows with a different invitation. Rather than encouraging reckless leaps, it asks whether an old fear has been mistaken for wisdom for too long. There may be dreams, creative ambitions, or meaningful changes you quietly placed aside because they once seemed impossible. The next step is not about certainty. It is about trusting yourself enough to move forward with intention, carrying the lessons of your past without allowing them to define the limits of your future. Moving forward does not require having every answer before you begin. Sometimes the most meaningful step is simply choosing not to let yesterday's fears decide what tomorrow is allowed to become. It is easy to believe that certainty must come before action. Yet life often reveals its direction only after you have found the courage to take the first sincere step. Growth often starts the moment you stop waiting for complete certainty and begin trusting the wisdom your experiences have already given you. Every challenge you have survived has quietly taught you something about yourself, even if you only recognize those lessons when looking back with greater clarity. The Tower reminds you that what once felt like chaos may have been clearing away foundations that could no longer support the person you are becoming. Moments that seemed unfair or unexpected often disrupted routines you had outgrown long before you realized it. The challenges you have survived, whether emotional, financial, or deeply personal, have shaped a resilience that cannot be borrowed or imitated because it was earned through lived experience. Looking back, you may recognize that what once seemed like loss quietly created space for greater stability and a more authentic life. Sometimes the structures that collapse are not punishments, but invitations to build something that reflects your true values rather than old expectations. The Death card speaks to Scorpio's deepest symbolic strength, transformation through release. It is not a message of endings to fear, but of identities, habits, and emotional patterns that have completed their purpose. There are seasons when holding on requires more energy than letting go, and recognizing that difference is part of your evolution. As you release what no longer reflects who you are, you create room for relationships, goals, and opportunities that resonate with the person you have become, rather than the person you once needed to be. Every layer you leave behind allows something more genuine to emerge, making space for a version of yourself that feels lighter without becoming any less powerful. The Star follows as a quiet reminder that hope often returns after honesty. Healing does not erase the past, but it changes your relationship with it, allowing intuition to become clearer and self-trust to grow stronger. Instead of carrying old memories as proof of what went wrong, you begin carrying them as reminders of what you have already overcome. Pay attention to the subtle moments that restore your confidence, a peaceful conversation, an unexpected feeling of calm, or the quiet realization that something which once hurt no longer controls your choices. These gentle moments often reveal more than dramatic signs ever could, because they reflect lasting inner change rather than temporary emotion. You may also find yourself becoming an important source of comfort for someone close to you. Whether a friend, partner, or family member is facing a difficult season, your willingness to listen with patience and compassion may offer more healing than trying to solve every problem. Sometimes people are transformed simply by feeling understood, and your ability to remain present without judgment can become a quiet gift. At the same time, remember that caring deeply for others should never come at the cost of neglecting yourself. Healthy compassion includes knowing where your responsibility ends and where another person's journey must remain their own. Your own well-being deserves the same kindness you naturally extend to those you love. Rest, nourishing food, movement, and emotional balance are not distractions from your purpose. They are what make it sustainable. Think of your energy as a deep reservoir rather than an endless supply. The more consistently you replenish it, the more resilient you become when life asks more of you. The stronger and more grounded you are, the more freely you can support the people who matter most, without sacrificing your own stability in the process. In your professional life, steady trust and thoughtful communication have the potential to strengthen important relationships. You may notice that cooperation develops more naturally when people recognize your consistency rather than your need to prove yourself. Quiet reliability often leaves a stronger impression than constant self-promotion because people remember those who bring clarity during uncertainty. Shared goals become easier to achieve when mutual respect replaces competition, allowing each person's strengths to contribute to something greater than individual recognition. If new opportunities begin to appear, approach them with curiosity instead of urgency. Whether you are advancing in your current role or exploring a different direction, your greatest advantage lies in observing carefully before acting decisively. Scorpio's natural instinct to look beneath the surface becomes especially valuable when evaluating possibilities that seem appealing at first glance. Authentic confidence is often more persuasive than trying to impress everyone around you because genuine conviction speaks through your actions long before it needs to be explained. If you are searching for work, allow your experience and values to speak clearly. Rather than trying to become the candidate you think others expect, present yourself honestly and let your character become part of your introduction. Share not only what you have accomplished, but also the perspective and resilience those experiences have given you. The right opportunity is more likely to recognize authenticity than perfection, and the environments where you can truly thrive are usually the ones that appreciate substance over appearances. Financially, this reflection encourages thoughtful stewardship rather than dramatic risk. New possibilities may emerge through practical ideas, trusted partnerships, or skills you have quietly developed over time. Lasting prosperity is often built through patience, consistency, and thoughtful planning rather than dramatic breakthroughs. Instead of chasing quick results, focus on choices that strengthen your long-term stability and reflect your deeper priorities. Even small, intentional decisions made consistently can gradually reshape your relationship with abundance in meaningful ways. Trust your ability to turn past challenges into lasting wisdom. Careful decisions made with patience and self-awareness often create stronger foundations than impulsive success ever could. As your confidence becomes rooted in experience instead of external validation, you may discover that the future feels less like something to conquer and more like something you are finally prepared to meet. The greatest transformation is rarely the one the world immediately notices. It is the quiet shift within yourself that changes how you approach every opportunity, every relationship, and every new beginning that follows. When it comes to your household, stability is often created through small decisions made together rather than dramatic changes. Whether you share your home with a partner, family members, or roommates, honest cooperation can ease financial pressure and help everyone make wiser use of shared resources. Even simple conversations about priorities, shared responsibilities, or future plans can prevent unnecessary stress before it has the chance to grow. Paying attention to everyday habits, respecting practical limits, and working toward common goals can quietly strengthen both your finances and your sense of security over time. The strongest foundations are rarely built through one extraordinary effort. They are shaped by consistent choices that reflect mutual trust and a shared commitment to supporting one another. The people closest to you may also become some of your greatest sources of encouragement. Support, does not always arrive from unexpected places. Sometimes it has been nearby all along, waiting to be recognized. A partner, sibling, relative, or trusted family member may offer insight, perspective, or simply the reassurance that you do not have to carry every responsibility alone. Scorpio often feels responsible for handling life's challenges privately, believing that strength means remaining self-reliant through every difficulty. Yet allowing trusted people to stand beside you is not a sign of weakness. It is another form of strength, one that requires courage, discernment, and the willingness to let genuine connection replace unnecessary isolation. The people who truly care about you are often grateful for the opportunity to support you, just as you have supported them. Balancing your emotional world with your professional responsibilities becomes especially important. When one area begins to consume all of your attention, the other can quietly ask to be seen, sometimes through subtle feelings of fatigue, frustration, or emotional distance. Creating healthy boundaries between work and personal life allows both to grow without constantly competing for your energy. Rather than trying to excel in every area at the same time, consider giving each part of your life the attention it deserves when it genuinely needs it. Some of your most meaningful achievements may begin with conversations around your own kitchen table, rather than in a boardroom, because the emotional stability you build at home often becomes the quiet strength that supports every success beyond it. Within committed relationships, emotional closeness may develop less through grand romantic gestures and more through honest conversations that reach beneath the surface. Speaking openly about shared dreams, future plans, creative ideas, or practical goals can strengthen trust in ways that fleeting excitement cannot. There is something deeply reassuring about knowing that someone is willing to understand not only what you hope to build together, but also what you quietly worry about when no one else is watching. Lasting intimacy often grows when two people feel safe enough to reveal their hopes, fears, and evolving priorities without fear of being misunderstood. These conversations become the threads that quietly weave resilience into the relationship, allowing love to mature alongside mutual respect. If you are single, there is no need to force yourself toward experiences that do not genuinely interest you. Choosing solitude for a while may simply reflect a desire to reconnect with yourself before opening your heart to someone else. Solitude does not always represent loneliness. Sometimes it creates the space necessary to better understand what you truly want from a future relationship and what no longer aligns with your emotional well-being. Emotional readiness cannot be rushed, and meaningful connections tend to develop more naturally when they are not pursued from loneliness or obligation. When your sense of self feels grounded, the relationships that enter your life are more likely to complement who you already are instead of filling a space you believe is missing. If you are getting to know someone, clarity becomes an act of kindness. Should you need space, quiet, or time to process your thoughts, expressing that honestly prevents unnecessary misunderstandings. Scorpio sometimes withdraws to restore emotional balance, but silence without explanation can leave others filling the gaps with fears that were never true. A simple conversation can preserve trust far more effectively than assumptions ever could. Being emotionally transparent does not require revealing everything at once. It simply asks you to communicate enough that the other person understands your intentions instead of having to guess them. You may also notice moments when words do not come as easily as they usually do. Rather than judging yourself, recognize that not every feeling needs to be expressed immediately. Some emotions become clearer after they have been given room to settle, allowing you to speak with intention instead of reacting from uncertainty. Reflection can be just as valuable as conversation, especially when it helps you distinguish between a passing emotion and a deeper truth that deserves to be shared. Giving yourself that space often leads to conversations that are calmer, clearer, and more meaningful. Within your family, opportunities for healing may emerge through quiet honesty rather than dramatic breakthroughs. Long-held patterns, old misunderstandings, or unspoken emotions can gradually soften when each person feels heard instead of corrected. Healing rarely happens because someone wins an argument. It happens because someone chooses understanding over defensiveness. Your calm presence may encourage others to share parts of themselves they have kept hidden, creating deeper understanding without anyone needing to force change. As trust grows, even long-standing differences can begin to feel less like barriers and more like opportunities to understand one another from a new perspective. Simple expressions of appreciation, patient listening, and genuine respect can strengthen the emotional foundation of your home in lasting ways. Small moments of thoughtful question, a quiet conversation, or a sincere thank you often leave a deeper impression than dramatic displays of affection because they communicate consistency and care. When trust is nurtured with consistency rather than expectation, the relationships that matter most become a source of resilience, giving you a steadier place from which every other part of your life can continue to grow. The stronger that foundation becomes, the more confidently you can move through the rest of your journey, knowing that true security is built not only through what you accomplish, but also through the connections you choose to protect and cultivate. Your greatest strength may not come from having endless energy, but from knowing where that energy truly belongs. There is a quiet kind of wisdom that develops when you stop measuring yourself by how much you can do and begin paying attention to what is truly worthy of your time and heart. When your attention is guided by purpose instead of constant urgency, even demanding responsibilities become easier to navigate because they are no longer pulling you in every direction at once. The more intentionally you choose where to invest yourself, the more sustainable your progress becomes, allowing each step to build naturally upon the last instead of leaving you drained before you've reached what matters most. One of the most valuable qualities you can cultivate is the ability to protect your energy from unnecessary distractions. Not every problem requires your intervention, and not every opportunity deserves an immediate response, no matter how compelling it may seem at first. There is strength in pausing long enough to ask whether something truly aligns with your deeper values or whether it is simply competing for your attention. Save your focus for the people, goals, and commitments that genuinely reflect who you are becoming, rather than who you once believed you had to be. At the same time, remember that caring for yourself is never separate from caring for those you love. Rest, nourishment, movement, and emotional balance are not rewards you earn after working hard enough. They are the steady foundation that allows your generosity, resilience, and compassion to remain authentic instead of becoming exhausted through constant giving. If you are studying or developing new skills, meaningful progress often grows through thoughtful collaboration. Sharing ideas with classmates, mentors, or trusted peers can deepen your understanding in ways that solitary effort sometimes cannot, because every conversation offers the chance to see familiar ideas from a different perspective. Learning becomes richer when different viewpoints challenge your assumptions while strengthening your confidence in what you truly know. At the same time, remain willing to contribute your own insights with humility. Some of the lessons that stay with us the longest emerge not from having all the answers, but from being open enough to learn alongside others. Some relationships may naturally feel especially supportive during this chapter of your journey. You may notice an easy sense of understanding with people who encourage honesty, emotional balance, and mutual respect, creating space where you no longer feel the need to explain every part of yourself. Rather than focusing on zodiac compatibility as a prediction, consider these connections symbolic reminders that the healthiest relationships are those where you feel safe to be fully yourself, where listening flows naturally, and where trust is built through consistency instead of promises. The people who belong in your life rarely ask you to become someone else. More often, they quietly remind you that your most genuine self has always been enough. As this reflection comes to a close, remember that its purpose has never been to tell you exactly what will happen. Its purpose is to offer another perspective, inviting you to explore your own experiences with greater awareness, compassion, and curiosity. Every life unfolds differently, and no single interpretation can capture every path. Keep what genuinely resonates with your heart, let it become something you can reflect on in your own time, and allow everything else to pass without feeling that you must force it to fit your story. Sometimes the most meaningful insight is simply the one that encourages you to look at yourself with greater honesty and kindness. If these reflections have offered you clarity or encouragement, I would be truly grateful if you supported this channel with a like. Your encouragement helps these conversations reach others who may also be searching for understanding, healing, or quiet reassurance during their own journey. And if you would like to continue exploring reflections like these, you're warmly invited to subscribe and become part of this growing community, where each message is created with the hope of inspiring thoughtful reflection rather than offering certainty. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Your time, your openness, and your willingness to reflect bring meaning to every message created here. And your presence helped shape this community into a place where curiosity and compassion can exist side by side. I hope you leave this reflection not with the feeling that every question has been answered, but with a deeper sense of trust in your own ability to find those answers as your journey continues. Until we meet again, may you continue to trust your inner wisdom, move forward with quiet confidence, care for yourself with the same kindness you offer others. And remember that the deepest transformations often begin long before the world can see them.